What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Nikki Valentine. Thank you so much for being here. And before we get into today's video, make sure you share, like, and subscribe to help us grow in our new little community. So, as promised, we are definitely going to get into Ready to Love Detroit Reunion Part 2 because the first one was spicy, but I wanted to wrap this up because there were some learnings in the second one that I think all of my girls could benefit from. So, without further ado, let's get into the things. The reunion opens up with the nonsense. Bello and Dom. And Dom is on fire. She is hot, she is angry, and she is ready with her receipts. She wanted to let all of us know that this whole thing with Bello was fake in the first place because he had a long distance girlfriend the entire time. Now, we know that she's not lying because it has since hit the internet that him and said girlfriend are now married. They literally got married within months after the show airing, so obviously you were with this lady the entire time. Why would you go on a show called Ready to Love that is about dating and finding love? Cloud chaser activity, and I hate that for her. Now, as much as I hate that he did that to her, there are some things that she could have picked up on too, which is homeboy just had a baby that was the result of a one night stand, and the young lady didn't live in his city. He said he's seen his baby about 3 times and she's 14 months old. That tells you he has a tolerance for avoidant BS. Somebody like that, it wouldn't surprise me that you would have a girlfriend somewhere else because you know how to compartmentalize and have things in boxes and containers here, there, and every freaking where. Okay? Now, here's what also made him sound like a complete fool. Two things. One, he said, we were in such a sandbox on the show. I didn't know if you and I would be a good couple, so I had to wait until I could get around my family and my friends and hear all of their opinions. Now, while the opinions of your family and friends are important, you should have a mind of your own, right? You don't get with someone, think they're a perfect match for you, and then dump them when your family and friends say otherwise. You would have had some inkling from the beginning that that person was not going to work. And the things that he cited, he saw at the beginning. He said, talking about her not being able to have kids, she told him she had multiple miscarriages, that she's 42, that she may not be able to conceive. She told you that. Religion differences, you guys knew that. Her father is a pastor, you're Muslim, sir. We knew all of that. So all the things he tried to bring up as, oh, I found out we were incompatible later, she literally showed you all of those things. Then he tried to bring up her lifestyle about how it was never enough for her. Here's where he played himself. Y'all, this man literally sat in our faces on our screens and said, I took Dominique and her kids out to dinner 3 times a week on average, spending 600 US dollars each time. Now, there's a couple of things wrong with that. That's a flex gone wrong. I'm going to tell you why. If you did that 3 times a week in a month, that is $7,200. If you did the 20 to 30 dinners, I calculated it based on 20, that is almost $20,000. So you mean to tell me you, Mr. Baller, spent $7,200 a month on food for her and her children? And that's not food for the household, that's going out to dinner. You know what that tells me? You are a fool. Okay, it reminds me of a T.S. Madison video I saw way back in the day where she said, you, my dear, are a fool. Fool, fool. There is no man that can lead my household that thinks it's a good idea to go to a $600 dinner 3 times a week. In order for that to be a good idea financially, you need to be making about $25,000 a month net. Net. I do math. I've been a high earner for a very long time. So when I hear people flexing, I know the difference between, oh, that's the lifestyle of a high earner and someone who is either lying or living above their means. Unless you had, after your rent, mortgage, and bills are paid, unless you had an extra 15,000 disposable income every month, it would make no sense to spend 7,200 of that on food. You see how I do quick math? This is why fake rich men can't get me because I add real fast. I'm like, what'd you say? You cannot be the head of a household if that's how you spend your money. It means you have poor financial management skills. You shouldn't be leading me anywhere as my husband. What you should be saying is, let's go out on date nights or out to family dinners, maybe once per week, maybe twice per month, and take our ass home and cook. Didn't that lady make you oxtails? Clearly she can cook. So you wouldn't be a good partner anyway that you think you are in spending the money because you're not scrupulous with how you spend. Do you see how it's tried to sound like a flex, but it was a fail? To a woman like me, it sounds like a fail. Because that means you're going to lead me into financial ruin every time I feel like I want to go to Nobu. What are we saying? Sometimes we have to say no to Nobu. Hello, we have to. Now, I'm going to move on from that. But here's the other thing I want to say that we can learn from as the women watching. And I said this last video, Dom was so busy wanting to prove that she was good enough for him feminine enough for him, can cook for him, can give him kisses and do all the things. I actually think she threw the cat at homie before the vacation to the cabins. You could tell. They were sharing a bedroom. What do we have going on? You barely have known this man for 5 minutes. She was so busy trying to obtain the man that we didn't actually see, is this man a good fit, not only for you, but to be your husband and to be around your children and lead a household? This is what happens sometimes when we see, oh, tall, dark, and handsome. He's 6 feet with a beard and all of that. Okay, but will he ruin your life though? How does he manage his life? Is that going to be a good addition to your life? Or are you so busy auditioning to be with him that you don't care? Stop auditioning, girls. Make them audition, okay? Look at their resume. Look at what they have bringing to the table and see if that's going to be conducive for you guys having a successful situation together. Because if she had done that, I think the answer would have been a hell no. But that's just my opinion. Now, let's move on. Nicole is back on our screens. Oh my God. And while I feel bad for this girl, the more that I hear her talk, I see her heaping coals onto her head. She was reviewing her time with Devon, the college professor who swears he's him. Devin really thinks he's him. And I know that we all are supposed to have high self esteem, but brother, I need you to face the man in the mirror a little bit more. They were talking about their interaction, and I found it funny that this was even a conversation because he was not checking for her that way. She was all over him like a bad fitting suit, along with Ed, and he was just playing her dust. Oh, she's in my top four, my top three, maybe this and that. So I didn't understand why she had so much heated conversation for homeboy at the reunion. He wasn't feeling you like that anyway. Let's wrap it up. See, this is the thing we need to learn as women. Don't send long texts and give long speeches to men who don't care. If he showed that he wanted somebody else more than you, okay, receive that, see that. That's what you receive it and go, you know what? I'm going to save my breath because I don't even matter to you that much anyway. So why would I go down this road? Right. So after she went down her bitter party of one and who he was seeing and why didn't you pick me and all of this nonsense, she then drops, which just made her sound like a bitter Betty. Well, and that's why you're an all lives matter person. Did we need that? Did we need to know he was all lives matter? Also, that's really crappy of you to do. You dropped that so that you could defame him and make him look some type of way at the reunion. And what was the point? For a man who didn't want you anyway? Do you think that's really going to hurt his life that people think he's all lives matter? It's not. He's a man. Women are going to jump on it anyway. Spoiler alert. And it sounds like from the conversation they had in the confessional that she actually misconstrued what he said and tried to put the all lives matter thing on him. So once again, you just sound desperate and insecure and bitter. And that's never what you want to sound like. Don't take time to insult a man who didn't want you anyway. It is a waste. Okay. But what I found interesting though is that actually led to a conversation of the whole cast about secrets and about talking in between the lounges, because on the show, the women have a lounge where they talk about their connections and how they feel. The men have a lounge, they talk about the women, their connections and how they feel. The way the show is set up, you're not supposed to speak between the lounges, but they did. And I think there's an interesting lesson here as well, which is if y'all don't think men are chatty patties, they are. They are. And they love to talk about the girls they're talking to, what they've done, what they're going to do, what they're feeling like doing, and talking all about you to their homeboys. So if you think that your interactions with a man are completely private and secret, they're not, because the same way you called your homegirls, he called his homeboys and he spilled it too. So if there's anything you would be ashamed in your thought, word, or deed of that being spread among the homies, don't do it because they're going to. That's what that showed me is, am I surprised that the women were talking outside of school? No, we're women, we talk. But the fact that the men were dropping so many secrets and trying to sabotage and dropping thoughts here and there that were supposed to be kept in confidence taught me something, well, that frankly I already knew, which is that y'all gossip too. Men gossip. Let me tell you why I know men gossip. I was with my ex-fiance for 13 years. We weren't engaged for 13 years, but we were together for 13 years. And I got to see him and his homeboys. When I tell you Kiki, they talk about people. They talk about what goes on. You want to know what's even funnier? They get sucked into shows like Real Housewives and Love and Hip Hop because they love the drama. They love the tea. They love the gossip. They love the BS. They do. You don't think they do, but if you get close enough to a man, you will figure out gossip and chatting. Therefore, I am very scrupulous about what I tell you, what I do with you, unless we are in a relationship and I know that we have some kind of trust. And even then, I'm looking at your homeboys a little crooked because I want to know, what do they know? So I thought that was an interesting conversation, but it just revealed something that is, I don't think, a secret, but what should be said about men is they talk too. They talk too. Now, we get to Ashley and Pimpin' Ken. I told y'all I would not be calling him Darius. That is Pimpin' Ken. I don't care what y'all say. Surprise, surprise, they didn't last. Are we shocked? Are we shocked? Something about, oh, he was interested in other girls, and once I saw him texting other people, I saw my way out. Baby, that was the least of your problems. You didn't see that man was a manipulator, that he owned a strip club, that he was dating one of the strippers at the club, aka his bottom B. You didn't see any of those as the problem. You didn't see the beijing as a problem. You didn't see the ombre beard as an issue, the furs, him dressing like a whole pimp every single day in your face. None of that seemed like a red flag. What the red flag was, oh my God, I can't believe that he was talking to other women. And it seemed like, of course, he's talking to other women. That's what he does. That's what pimps do. Isn't it? Isn't that what pimps have all the ladies around? That's what they do. Now, here's why I'm disappointed in her. Because in the last episode where they were supposed to choose the partner they wanted, she, in front of Darius, had a nervous breakdown and said, I feel like getting with you is going to reverse all the work that I've done on myself, and I really don't want to go backwards. And then picked him anyway. You can't make this stuff up. Like, as women, we see the red flags waving red like this, and still you were like, well, it's okay. No, ma'am. You just said this man is going to take you backwards from all the self work that you've done, but you're going to do it anyway? Like, do you not hear that? And let me tell you something. I had a therapist once, many, many, many years ago, when I was separating from said ex-fiance. And she said something very harsh to me that I needed to hear. She was like, if you think you can spin the block on homeboy, based on what you've told me, based on the work that you've done, based on where it would take you to, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to end up back wanting to self-delete right here on my couch. So if you think you have the wiggle room to play with this, I'm going to let you know that you don't. And it was so harsh, but I feel like more women need to understand, if you get with somebody who you perceive will do you psychological harm, it's going to be full body harm. It's going to be mental, spiritual, emotional, physical. It's going to harm your entire system. The wrong man can make you want to take yourself off this earth. Somebody, anybody who comes against and erases all the work you've done on yourself and all the progress will make you want to walk into the streets. It is not worth it. I don't care how fine that man is. And I needed to hear it that harshly from my therapist many, many years ago, because she was not wrong. It's why I'm more militant with my spin the block. If I feel like there is any injury that could come to my person from letting you back in my life, it is a chop. Can't happen. Ashley should have given Darius the freaking chop, because the way her head was hung down and she looked so sad, you know what that look was? I went against my intuition. I went against my better knowing. I went against what my healed mind told me to do. And I faced injury from it. We've all been there. Don't let yourself go back there. Okay, that's all I want to say. Now, I have to move on from pimping because he gets me mad. Okay, let's talk about Shannon, because I actually feel like Shannon is the meat and potatoes of this part 2 reunion, and also the kind of woman that we need to learn from her mistakes. So Shannon is a successful nurse, I believe an AKA college educated, beautiful, beautiful woman. Nice attitude, beautiful smile. She even had some beautiful hair going on, okay? And all of the men on the show acknowledged that, and yet none of them picked her. And when Tommy asked them to describe her, they went around the room describing this woman as, she's like a Michelle Obama. She's so perfect. She's marriage material. She's the type of woman you can take home to your mother. She has a great career. She has all of this stuff going on. And yet none of you selected her. And you could just see her sitting there seething, angry as hell. And by the way, Shannon looked amazing. Like, seeing her on the reunion, I'm pretty sure every man in that room was like, we are dumb. We are dumb. Look at what we missed. Dumb, dumb, dumb. But I want to highlight this because there are so many women like Shannon who, when they face rejection in the dating market, they take it personally and they feel like it is an affront to who they are and that you're not good enough. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is, even though the show was called Ready to Love, none of them were ready to love. They were ready to hit it, as you can see by Vince smashing half the cast, as you can see by Lauren trying to smash half the men on the cast, as you can see by everybody hooking up with people they rejected after the show. It was never about finding love for these men, because if it was, they would have gone with the woman that they said was wife material. So I say this to say, you can be wife material as a woman, and a man can simply not be ready for a wife. That is not a reflection on you. And I think there is so much content out here and so many coaches who try to teach you how to be more feminine. And it's because you're not doing this and that. And it's because. No, it's because you're a good woman who's serious about finding love and being good to that man. And he is not ready for that. And here's the kicker with Shannon. She is so nice that they actually couldn't face themselves if they screwed her over. There are some women who you just look so innocent and sweet that it just reveals and is a mirror to a man, and he can just see the dog in himself. And he has to leave you alone because he knows that pursuing you would ruin you in a way that you don't even deserve. I have had men flat out tell me, you're too good for me. Believe a man when he says that. Because he knows I have that dog in me and you don't. Okay? That's what happened with Shannon. So I say that to say this. Do not try to fashion yourself into what you think a man would want, because ultimately, even if you are all of those things, if a man is not ready for a good woman and a serious relationship, he's never going to be ready. And so you should move on to someone that is ready, right? Now, here's what made me sad is when they asked her, has she found any love after the show? What's she going to do now? Blah, blah, blah. She said, what sadly most of us as Black women say, I'm just going to focus on my career. That made me terribly sad because the truth is she deserves love, but it feels like she's not going to pursue it now because she brought everything. She brought it to the floor. She put it on the floor. She came ready for love and was rejected. And that can make you want to isolate and go back into your shell. But I want to tell you this. If you have experienced the same thing, it doesn't mean you should go isolate and lock yourself in your closet and stay at home and never see the light of day and focus on your career and get 6 more degrees. That's not actually getting you closer to your goal of love. Here's what you do. Acknowledge that those men weren't ready or that man wasn't ready. And then you move on. You take yourself back outside or back onto whatever apps or back into whatever programs and you get back out there. Because the truth is this, yes, we deserve to have great careers, but your career can't keep you warm at night and fulfill your soul in certain ways, right? And so when we try to fill the love hole with the career hole, it's not actually solving the problem. It's basically the equivalent of taking your ball and going home when you don't win the game. Can't do that. You got to still play, right? If you were at a job and your boss said something to you didn't like or you got rejected for a promotion, you wouldn't just flat quit and never work again, would you? No, you would either keep working, work harder, change jobs, change companies. You would do something because you know that your goal is to succeed. And so I tell you the same thing as Black women about love. If you find that you got rejected, if you find that a guy was not ready, that does not mean you have to take yourself off the market. That's not a healthy response because remember, the only way to punish prisoners who are already in jail is to put them in isolation. Isolation is punishment for people who are already being punished. Do you see it? So when you put yourself in isolation because you're having a bad dating experience, you are imprisoning and punishing yourself. Just understand that you are a good woman. You bring what you bring. You're ready, and not everyone will be ready. So continue to have fun and meet people and engage until you find those who are on your same frequency and your wavelength. That's the advice I would give to Shannon. That's the advice I would give to any of my clients. And I hope that you hear that and receive it. Don't just take yourself out of the game. It hurts you. Okay. I also find it interesting that Steven, who was her top connection and the guy that she was really hoping to get with, he had like 5 connections. Homeboy could not focus. I knew he was a player president from the beginning. Him and all his little sweaters looking like a real live version of Arthur. He made me mad because I don't like covert narcissists. Guys that come in as the nice guy and the sweet guy and the, oh, I'm so sensitive and I want to connect. You're just as much of a player. It's just a different suit. See, I dealt with a grandiose narcissist, and so I didn't realize that there were the shy guy, the humble guy, the quiet guy. Oh, I'm such a lover. Oh, I want to get married. Yeah, to 6 bitches. That's what you want to do. You want to get married to everybody. You want to give your succulent to everybody. You're still a player, but more well-spoken and with a loving act, but it's still an act. And I adored the fact that when he tried to spin the block on her at the end of the reunion, she said, I would prefer to be with someone who knew that they should have had me the first time. That's how you deal with men like that, who you were genuinely interested in, genuinely, and you really wanted to date them and you put your level best forward and they felt like they could ghost and choose someone else. Never let them come back into your life because if you saw the materials, sir, you would have chosen me the first time. I'm not giving you a second time to see the materials and do a review. Because when y'all want a sneaker, you buy it the first time. When you want a shirt, you buy it the first time. All them little corny sweaters, you bought all of them the first time. You didn't have to leave the store and come back. You knew you wanted it and you bought it right then. Women are the same. Do not ever let a man put you on a shelf. Please take my advice. Never let a man put you on a shelf. I tell men, if you try to put me on a shelf, I'm like milk, baby. I'll spoil. I'll be spoiled. By the time you come back, ruined, rotten, and you won't want it. It's gonna be rotten, baby. Like you can never put me in storage ever, ever. ever. So do not let anybody do that to you. I am glad this season wrapped up because nobody was really there for love. Everybody was there trying to get on and be in a Tubi movie and do their little real estate and hit their next lick. Nobody was really focused on finding love. Everyone had a list, a checklist, a timeline, a thing they wanted, but it wasn't really genuine. I won't say nobody, but majority of the cast was not there to actually dig in and find love. And I find that sad. If we're going to do these dating shows, let's not just do it for entertainment. Tommy, let's actually have some kind of casting, some kind of screening, some kind of something to understand that people are actually ready for love. Because how did the man get on your show and already have a girlfriend? Was there no screening, no background check? We didn't look at his social media. We didn't, nothing. We gotta stop. This is not good. You're wasting our time, Loki. And further, you're wasting the time of the women who actually come there wanting to find love and connection. And I don't like that for the girls, especially not my black girls. We don't love to see that. So, another season of Ready to Love has passed. We'll see what city they hit us with next time. And maybe some of these people will actually show up and be ready. Who knows? Till then, don't let anyone's son play with you. And as always, I love you. Make sure you hit that subscribe bell, share this with a friend, and I will see you next time. Bye.